What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games, and I beat 50 games in 2020, which is pretty awesome, and I don't think I've ever beaten that many games in a year before, so I really wanted to look at all the games I beat this year and do a quick 30-second, thought and feelings opinion on each game, and maybe just talk about things I enjoy, and we're going to keep on going, rapid fire, live. Alright, you're starting off with Hand Simulator Survival, and damn, this game was some hot doo-doo, honestly. This game was hilarious and bad. You literally control like both of your fingers and your hands with pretty much like 10 buttons on the keyboard. It is so hard to move and do the basics of this game. However, it was really fun. Beat this with some of my friends in the Discord, where you had to like escape the island in one day, and it was honestly incredible. And I'll never forget the scorpions that attacked us. So that was a pretty wild time. Wow, Yakuza 2 Kiwami. Okay. Wow, this game was really good, honestly. I just got into Yakuza recently, and this is the first of many I have beaten within the past year and a half. Story of the game was overall really good. Combat was fun too. Graphically, it was quite impressive. And damn, this dude is really shirtless right here. Damn, why is everyone hot in Yakuza? It's sort of insane, honestly. How do they make these such perfect people? And here is Temtem. Oh my goodness. We got bootleg indie Pokemon. Honestly, I think Temtem's really good. It's still in early access, but I do consider it as a finished product to a certain degree, so that's why it's on the list here. I had a good time with this game overall. I still need to get back into it more with the new content that just recently came out, but so far I think it's really good. I don't know if it can be as good as Pokemon, but I think it's it's nice to have some sort of variety in this monster hunting type of game. And damn, Plague Tale Innocence. All right, this is the rat game. This is a game where a shit ton of rats are gonna chase after you and ruin your day, and you gotta like chase after your like little brother who's the rat king god. It's sort of, honestly, this game was, I think, a little bit overhyped in my opinion. I thought it was, I mean, it's still a good game. I think there's some good boss fights. The rats are really creepy. It's almost sort of like a Resident Evil type of feeling of how they swarm at you and try to destroy you. All right, Hades. Wow, yeah. So this game did just officially come out early. I mean, just recently in like October. However, I've been playing it since 2019, and I finally completed it this year. Lots of great characters, fun combat. It's honestly so beautiful. Especially this animated trailer they recently released is really good too. I mean, I need to get more back into it. I need to get more endings and all that fun stuff. But damn, this is sort of a, I wouldn't say a sleeper, but it would surprise me for sure. And more Yakuza. Wow, Kiryu really just, instead of finisher of a cigarette, he just threw it at dude's head. That was crazy. So Yakuza 3 does not look as good as Yakuza 2, since it's not a remake, but it is a remaster. It's definitely the hardest to play in the series from my most recent experience with pretty much all of them, but it's still a fun game, still Yakuza. I mean, this girl just beat the shit out of this pervert, so, that's always fun. And Kiryu's taking notes from that woman, so that's pretty incredible. Wow, and we got Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. So I actually never beat Scholar of the First Sin, which is the, essentially Dark Souls 2 with all the DLC, but even more story content was added outside of the DLC. And damn, Dark Souls 2 is really annoying to get through. I completely forgot how they changed the adaptability system and for rolling, and it's honestly the most painful game to play in the series, but it was still a fun time, and I do like the new story content that was added as well. Alright, so coming up we got Neo 2, sequel to the original Neo. Really feels like Neo 1.5, but I think that's good. They added a lot more enemy diversity, a lot more levels, a lot more spirits to summon. I really need to play the DLC for this game since I own the Season Pass, but I'm going to wait till 2021 to actually play the 4K 120 FPS mode that's launching on PS5, so really close to getting through about 3 DLCs for this. Well, it's a lot of fun, and I don't think people should sleep on this game. It's honestly pretty incredible. Resident Evil 3, so Resident Evil 3 was really good. Not as good as Resident Evil 2, but Resident Evil 3 was never as good as Resident Evil 2, so even in the sense of remake, this is what I expected. Very short game. I actually beat it in one stream, I remember, and I think it took me 4.5 hours, and I paid $60 for this. I never played Resident Evil Online, though. It looked interesting, but I was just never, I just didn't want to do that. Alright, so Doom Eternal is essentially the Devil May Cry of first-person shooters, except that you can't actually see yourself do the cool stuff, which is unfortunate. I thought this game was pretty good. I mean, like, Doom 2016 was incredible, but I don't think it was as good as that one, because they put the story in the forefront, but still a good shooter. Marauder's probably most hated enemy of the year. Let's do a list. Marauder being #1 on that most hated enemy of the year list. And the last boss fight, which is another big Titan dude, a little bit annoying, but fun shooting, big shotguns. And oh, here is Yakuza 4. So this is actually the final Yakuza game on this list. Incredible. The ending of this game is fantastic. You get to play as 4 different characters that you see here, and they're all so different style-wise. They all have different characters, different backgrounds. It's honestly a pretty gruesome game too, and like I said, this one's definitely worth playing to completion. The final song of this game is incredible. Alright, so now we're going to be diving into the Stanley Parable. This game was weird, and I know it's actually a pretty old game, but I got it for free on the Epic Game Store, and I played it on stream. And yeah, this game has like, what, 15 endings, and they're all so weird and wacky to get, and completely fucks with your head at certain points, so very, very interesting. I highly suggest playing this game without looking up anything, and then like once you start playing the game and try to get all the endings, look up some guides, because there's a lot that were really hard to find. And another free Epic Game Store game I played this year was Celeste. And yeah, Celeste came out a couple years ago. I can see why people were loving this platformer. It's really tight. The story's pretty emotional too, so that's always great. There's a lot of content. You can play every level twice with the Side A and Side B versions as well. There's cherry chasing, and there's just, even if you don't even do any of the side content, there's a lot of levels to enjoy. So I believe it took me about like 12 hours to get through with just beelining the story. And Final Fantasy VII Remake, one of my favorite games this year. This game's honestly incredible. It really lived up to my expectations in pretty much every single way. I actually got the platinum on this. I really wish I could replay it again for the first time, honestly. It's so good. I hope we get a PS5 patch for this so it looks even better. And I hope we get the sequel soon. I'm probably going to guess like 2022 or 2023 at this point, but you know, the sooner the better, honestly. I can't really wait. And honestly, my indie game of the year, but didn't come out this year, is Katana Zero. I haven't had this much fun with a game in a long time when that game came out. I mean, when I played it for the first time. It was, oh, it's just so good. There's a couple different endings too, lots of replayability. Apparently free DLC is coming in the future, so highly recommend picking it up on a Steam sale or something like that. It's relatively cheap too. I think you can pick it up for around $10, so be on the lookout for Katana Zero in the future. And then I played a Devolver Digital game called Ruiner, and it sort of disappointed me overall as a game. I really like the aesthetics of Kill Boss, and you know, it looks good graphically. Gameplay wise, I felt like there's a little bit too much going on, and it just didn't really feel too great. I beat the game. Story is a little bit, I mean, it's interesting, but it's a little bit messy as well. I think it tried to do too much with what it had, honestly, but overall it was a fine experience. And then I beat Hyper Light Drifter for the first time. Another amazing indie game, super old at this point though, so I'm a little bit surprised I didn't play it until now. Another free Epic Game Store game. Movement, great. I love pixel art like this, so I really want to look for more indie games that have similar art styles. And yeah, I'm excited for the sort of spiritual successor, Solar Ash, that's supposed to come out in 2021, so I'm pretty excited for more games from this dev. And Ape Out is the most monkey game you can play. You're literally a gorilla. You throw doors, you kill people. Very short. I beat this game probably 2.5 hours, 3 hours on stream. Very fun, worth every penny though. I think it's also free on Game Pass, so you don't even have to pay for it there. Yeah, I mean, you can see this is literally the whole game. Monkey. You pick up people, throw them out window. Very monkey. Ape Out 2, I don't even know how you do that. More monkey. 2 monkeys. Monkey of gun, so we'll just already have that. Oh, now we're in Batman Arkham Knight. I've always wanted to get through this game, and I promised myself I would do it this year, and I did. First time I played it, too much Batmobile. By the time I finished it, still think too much Batmobile. And the twist was, I mean, even if the twist wasn't spoiled for you, it's so obvious who Red Hood is and all that stuff, so it doesn't really matter. But fun game, good ending to the trilogy of the Arkham games. I hope we get some more good Arkham games in the future, but I don't think we will. In Titan Souls. Titan Souls is like a 2D Shadow Colossus type of deal. Very fun, very hard. Really old game. I think I've actually owned this on Steam for a long time. I was just hanging out in my library for a while. I think the game's like 30 bosses. You can get it for probably like $5. I mean, there's not too much to say about it. This is literally the game. You literally just fight bosses, and that's it. And is there new challenges? Not really, just bosses. Okay, there's Fury. So another game similar to like a Katana Zero type of game, or it's like sort of like a Souls boss rush as well. You know, just fight a bunch of bosses, have a fun time. But at least there's no inner, like, you know, in between level stuff. It's just literally walk to boss, have fun. Bosses are incredibly hard. This game definitely made me rage at times. I had a really great stream with it though, so I would love a Fury too. And there's still 2 DLC bosses I never beat, so maybe I'll go back to it one day. And then Monster Hunter World Iceborn. So I actually really love Monster Hunter, but I never got to Iceborn. I believe it came out in late 2019, so I was sort of like hanging out, waiting. Got a good sale for this game. And honestly, I'm really impressed with Capcom, as I call them Cap Gods at this point, because they release a lot of free updates to Iceborn as well. So there's been a lot of fun content just to go back every now and then to play in Monster Hunter. And I'm really excited for Monster Hunter Rise for next year. And Final Fantasy IX, yeah, surprise. This is actually the oldest game on this list, to my knowledge. And this was really fun to play. I really love Final Fantasy games. Very interesting cast. I think the story does fall apart towards the last 15%, but it was really fun getting to that point. And the summons are sick. I think Zidane's actually pretty cool. Vivi is the GOAT. There's just a lot of good stuff. And I played with a guide, but you know, it was really fun to see. And surprise, another old game, Halo Combat Evolved, which I actually never beat before because I only played the multiplayer while I was in high school in 9th grade. I was on the computer servers, so I played a lot of the multiplayer, but never really got through the campaign because I never owned an original Xbox. So it was really fun just to see how Halo started off, and that game does not really hold up well at all, but it wasn't too long. The Warthog rally at the end is it's still fun though, so I had a good time overall. It's just fun playing Master Chief. And there's Last of Us Part 2, incredible. I really love this game. I know there's like some controversy with this game, but I think a lot of it's out of toxicity for no reason. And it's a lot of fun. The shooting's great. It's graphically the most impressive game I played on the PS4, save animations wise, and I think the story is pretty good too. I'll have more thoughts on this in another video coming out soon. But yeah, this game is just brutal and gruesome and does not care about your feelings at all, and I respect it. And here's Hollow Knight. So another game I played on stream. I really actually love this game's aesthetic, so I've always been a fan of how it looked, but I never really played it until this year. And it was another game I got for free at some point. Fantastic overall, great Metroidvania. Really excited for Silksong to come out. Hopefully next year. There is an edge cover for Silksong for actually in December, so we'll see what happens to the future of Hollow Knight. But yeah, I'm very excited for the future of this franchise. And here's Halo 2 Anniversary Edition. So after beating Halo 1, 2, and 3 and Reach, Halo 2 is 100% my favorite Halo game. It is so good. It's funny how the Anniversary Edition of 2 looks way better than 3 graphically, which I think is really funny and hurt my experience with 3 somewhat. But the story is cool. Arbiter is sick. Dual wielding was completely busted in this game too, and I really like just the story going on with Halo 2 more than the rest. And Darkest Dungeon is a game I lost over like 100 hours of my life to, and yeah, it's pretty old, but it holds up really well, especially with all the DLC you can put in it. This game does not care about difficulty. It will just destroy you no matter what, even on the most normal mode possible. So definitely I want to be strategic with this game, but you get connected to your characters, and you know the motions run high, but it's fun when you actually succeed in your first few dungeon runs, and then after that it gets, you know, you start understanding it better. And here's the Volver Land Expo, which is a really funny game to add to this list because it was a free-to-play game to highlight what E3 could have been if it happened this year because, you know, COVID. So going through this, you got to see like a bunch of different trailers from Devolver Digital. in 2020. It was actually a fun, like, cool marketing showpiece. I felt like, yeah, this is a full game. I mean, there's a lot to actually see and do, and I learned about a lot of games I wasn't expecting. And I really love this publishing studio. So now we have Ghost of Tsushima, which one of my favorite games of the year. You get to live the samurai Assassin's Creed fantasy, which Ubisoft won't do, but Sony did. Graphically beautiful. It is actually insane what they've done with the visuals. Swordplay is really fun, and then they added a free multiplayer mode later in the year, which I played with my friend, doing a co-op story and the survival modes. And overall, a great package and one of the best games of the year for sure. And then my personal sleeper hit, which ended up taking over the world for a month or two, was Fall Guys. And wow, I still play this game. I have over 200 hours on Steam. I'm such a huge fan of Mediatonic. They really produce something unique into the Battle Royale scene. And I really hope they can keep the momentum going. Season 3 has been great so far with the free updates coming and more levels. So I hope in 2021 they can keep going because I do want to play more. And here's Halo 3, which I actually had a fun time beating with a couple of my friends over on the Discord server, doing a co-op campaign on Heroic. Very fun game, especially on with a co-op. Since this was my first time doing a co-op story mode on Halo, doing a full playthrough on it. So I had a great time. Like I said, I think Halo 2 has a better story, but I think Halo 3 has a lot better gunplay mechanics. And I actually messed around with the multiplayer a bit. It was pretty fun as well, so... Diving into Dark Souls 3. So this needs an asterisk because I played Dark Souls 3 with a mod here, with the Cinders mod. So it really changed a lot of the game, added a lot more weapons, even made a couple of my original YouTube videos based on this mod. Very fun. I love Dark Souls 3 a lot. I think it's one of the best games on the last generation consoles for sure. And yeah, I mean, I'm always down to go back to do some more Dark Souls 3 stuff, especially with the mod community going strong. And here's Rogue Legacy 2, which is still currently in early access, and I did beat a few builds in early access now, so that's why it's on this list. Really love this roguelike franchise. I think 2 is a strong successor to the first one. Of course, it's nowhere close to being a finished product yet, so I'm really excited to see where this dev team brings this series, and I do hope to make some more videos on this soon in the future. But yeah, good gameplay, graphics are great, and I really like the new classes they added as well. So here's Bootleg Dark Souls, which is Mortal Shell. Mortal Shell, very short. I played on the Epic Games Store, so that's always fun using that launcher. I do like the unique things they do with this game, like the armor system, where you can turn yourself hard to get blocks and parries in, and also how you possess different shells, and which change up your class type and weapons, so that's cool. But it's a very short game with only 3 dungeons, and the last boss is really disgusting. I really hate that disgusting crow monster thing you have to fight. So, and here's Final Fantasy 14. So we have 2 minutes actually of Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn here, because we're covering every single expansion, so we're just gonna talk about Final Fantasy 14 for a bit. So A Realm Reborn sucks. Honestly, dude, going through A Realm Reborn, not a great time. This is like my first MMO I really played through to the end, and this is definitely the worst part. However, I did enjoy the game mechanically as well, but story-wise, it's really lame, and there's a lot of fetch quests, a lot of things that are not enjoyable in A Realm Reborn. However, once you get past those first 50 levels, you get to Heaven's Word, which is sort of like a complete 180, where the writers really, came in strong with a great story, new areas, and tons of new content. Really brings up the stakes of the story as well, and obviously dragons are just cool as shit, so who doesn't even like that? So I think if you get into Final Fantasy 14, just getting through A Realm Reborn is going to be the hardest part for you, but once you're past that, you'll be treated with this gift. And then you get the Weeb expansion, which is Stormblood, which is my favorite expansion just because the Samurai comes out, which is my favorite class, which is what I play. It's not favorite for story-wise or anything, but I do like the whole aspect of war. I do like how it expands the world you're in by a bunch of new areas actually across the world, so there's a lot of different cultures you get to see, and it's really interesting because originally the world feels really small, but Stormblood really opens that up. Especially I like the new villains in it as well. And then Shadowbringers is actually truly the best story in Final Fantasy 14. It's probably one of the best Final Fantasy stories in general, period. I think it was maybe actually a top 5 in my opinion. I really had to think about that more, but a quick glance, yeah, I really think that. And of course, gameplay's still good. Your armor is really nice. I mean, I just like killing these monsters and Shadowbringers a lot. And of course, going back to the Warrior of the Light story, like, you know, tying it all around together, actually getting things tied up. Okay, so we're a minute of Pokemon here. So the first expansion for Isle of Armor is pretty alright. I do like what they added, where you can actually see your Pokemon behind you when you walk in the overworld. Kubfu is adorable, and Urshifu is amazing and really good for competitive play too. I do like the new rival trainer they added. If you play Sword, I like the rival trainer. I don't like the rival trainer for Shield. Luckily, I played Sword, which is pretty good. But then the second expansion, the Crown Tundra, really adds a lot. Adds so many more Pokemon, all the legendaries. Dynamax Adventures is actually such an incredible mechanic for Pokemon. It's just a lot of fun to shiny hunt in that way. And also just the new Galarian birds, the new legendary story is fun. Of course, your Pokemon can still follow you in the overworld. I honestly really feel like Sword and Shield probably is the best Pokemon game when you add the 2 expansions together, but you really just can't play one expansion. You need the experience of both to really start enjoying it. And here's Astro's Playroom, which I actually believe is the best tech demo and marketing demo in like gaming history. It is so cute, so adorable, tons of PlayStation references from a bunch of different series, from like God of War to Last of Us and everything in between. And it's like a perfect demo for the DualSense controller. So I really hope a lot of other games take the hints from this game about how to best use the controller in the future on the PS5, because this is a feature that is underutilized right now, but I think has a promising future. And Demon's Souls, the remake of my game in the year of 2009. As you know, on this YouTube channel, I made tons of Demon's Souls content, and I really love this game. I have 6 clears currently on it, and probably more in the future, different builds. I don't think the game's necessarily too hard, but it's definitely challenging. It's definitely a game that will body you the first time you play it, but you know, the more and more you play it, the easier it gets, and the more fun you'll start having. And I think the PvP is really good in this rendition of the game. And here's a Miles Morales where he's, you know, Spider-Man flying around. It's just honestly, it's like feels like Spider-Man 1.5, but with 60 FPS, really does change the gameplay a lot and how things look. And there's no pop-in either. New York feels really alive in this version. Story's really good. I think the ending's actually very emotional. Made me tear up a bit. So if you want a good story, definitely check this out. And definitely try to get the Ultimate Edition for 70 bucks because you get the first game as well. And here's Bug Snacks, which is honestly one of the weirdest games I went to completion in this year. Yeah, I mean, it's like Pokemon Snap, and except you actually catch the Bug Snacks. There's 100 Bug Snacks to catch. Really interesting story. By the end of it, it's like, huh, this is like a good time. And a lot of interpersonal relationships that are sort of the meat of the games. The boss fights are trash though, and the gameplay is sort of buggy, which is funny because it's Bug Snacks, but you know, it's overall a good game. And here is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and we're using the Zombies trailer because I think the Zombies feature is the best part of this experience, of this full package. I think the multiplayer is sort of lame. The story is alright. I mean, it's better than the usual Call of Duty stories because they're actually choices, and is graphically sort of impressive for Call of Duty, but short campaign, mid-online play. I'd rather just play Warzone, but the Zombies is where it's at, and I hope we get more zombie updates in the future because currently we only have 1 map. And Sackboy: A Big Adventure is sort of like Sony's attempt at a 3D like Mario game here. So there's no crate mode anymore. However, they really stepped it up with the gameplay. Tons of different mechanics that are unique to this game versus the other Sackboy games. And lots of customization, online play now too. Overall, it's a great game. It's a jolly old time. And yeah, I mean, I think everyone should pick up Sackboy. Overall, just, man, look at these graphics going on too. You know, he's got those fuzzies. And wow, we got Cyberpunk going on. Wow. This game was the most disappointing game I've played this entire year. This trailer looks so much better than my entire experience, which is really disappointing. I even played it on PC and it was just not great. Yeah, in my review, it's just, I sort of dumpstered on this game. I think it would be a good game in 2 years, but there's a lot of problems I have with it. and hopefully in the future they can fix it. And wow, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, just beaten recently. Incredible game, really underrated. Everyone should play it. It's on Game Pass. It's on Nintendo Switch. No reason not to. Play the first game as well. So much better than the first game, story-wise, mechanically, and everything else. So, what a great glow up for this franchise. And I hope we get an Ori 3 sometime soon in the future, but we'll see. With that ending, it's sort of up in the air, but you know, I think they will. Moon Studios deserves more. And last but not least is Carrion. Carrion's a pretty cool monster killing game. Well, no, you're the monster who kills everyone. Controls are sort of ass. Yeah, it's just, I wish it was better. I really wish it was better. It was the Devolver published game, so I had higher hopes for it, but unfortunately, it's very mid. But I played it free on Game Pass, so can I really complain? I guess I can, because time is money, but it's all good, you know. And yeah, I think that's my 50 games of 2020 right there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please subscribe to my channel for more gaming action. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.